Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Hello, everybody. I'm Ross Morasso. Welcome once again to our program. My guest today, Kaitlyn Andrews, international life coach for women. You can find her at theartofwomanliness.com. Kaitlyn, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Ross. I'm so glad to be back.
Sure. How's the new year treating you so far?
It's been a wonderful, unique, and slow period of my life, and I'm actually really grateful for that. I've had time to reflect.
Reflect and take a breath, huh?
Yeah, it's been good.
Well, I don't know what's happened over the past couple of years that you would have found to be like stressful or anything. You coach women, and for some people, women would be wondering like, well, what does that mean? What can I do out of it or whatever? And you have a clarity call that you do with people for free. So for anyone who's sniffing around the edges on this, this sounds like that might be a good place to start. Tell me about what that does and like what people should expect on that call.
Oh, for sure. So first and foremost, you get to go and say, hey, I'm wanting to see you and I'm wanting to meet you. And this is a great opportunity because not only do we get to gauge if we're a good fit for each other, if we have the same kind of like jive, we drive together, we can do stuff together, we feel like we can talk openly with each other. This is also one of those places where we can ask crucial questions, where you can say, hey, this is really what I'm struggling with. I have a questionnaire that you can fill out in the process if you want to get your brain going on like, okay, so what specifically do I really want to work on? And then also sometimes there's like this big vision that you have and you're just trying to understand how to get there as a woman, as a career woman, as a mom, as a thriving, beautiful woman that you want to be. That takes process and that takes time. And so if if you've got a big picture, that also is where this clarity call can come into place. And I truly believe that each person's journey is so personal and individual. And so being willing to say, okay, some things that I have as a coach may not be for you, yet there is so much that I have that is for you. And so we don't do everything that I have. I specialize it to fit your needs. I specialize it to be right there along the path with you. Like if you struggle with specific healing or negative mindsets, or if you continually beat yourself up and you question your own emotions, I have an entire section that I'm able to build out for you and make sure that we're hitting those points for you. Yeah, if you struggle with, like, let's say, just even being motivated, getting out of bed, trying to find your way to even just starting, we can start there. And so there's different starting points. There's different emotional needs that each of us have, and also different goals. And so I want to make sure that those paths are personalized. So the clarity call brings those forward.
So this clarity call is like a discovery process.
Yeah, it's just clarifying. It's making sure that we're both on the same page and saying, hey, here's some steps that we can take right now. And that's really where we start. We start building where you really, really want to find a good foundation.
You know, I heard you mention there as you were just starting off about beauty. And I think sometimes in America, beauty brings up stuff for us, right? So it is something for you and what you coach and work with the women around the world where you take on beauty. But I mean, like I have my own definition of it or whatever. And maybe everybody else does too. So explain to me what it is you mean by finding your beautiful self or becoming more beautiful or so on and so forth. What does that mean?
Oh my goodness. I love this question, Ross. So thank you so much, because honestly, I think that there is so many definitions of it. And I also do believe that there's this idea going around that it's subjective and that we just are what we are and we just got to face that. Yeah, I actually truly believe that when a woman is secure, confident, and fully living her true self, that she is beautiful. I'm also kind of tired of the cookie cutter, like wear this, do this, change your face like this, or lift your butt like that, because you have been perfectly and individually created to be you. And I think trying to be like someone else can actually damage that beauty. And so learning to be radiant in who you are is such a just a mind-blowingly beautiful concept for me. And it's not just a concept. The more I've tapped into it, the more that I've just sought it out, the more beautiful I feel like I have become for myself. The more I don't seek to say, am I beautiful to others? The more that I walk into a room with this sureness of heart, not pride and not stuck up nose, just this surety inside of me that knows who I am and what I can bring. And there's this energy about me where I become naturally more beautiful to others. And they come up to me, and I've had countless women since I've really stepped and fully embraced who I really am as a beautiful daughter of God, as a beautiful woman of goodness and purity and devotion and strength and kindness, that people come up to me and they say, I know you. I totally know you. And it's the most unique thing, because I don't know, maybe I've got one of those faces that people are just like, I know someone who looks like you or something. Yet it's the most incredible thing. And I actually do believe that once we step into who we really are, how we live and how we present and express ourselves with that surety of knowledge of who we are, there is this sense of presence that you can't shake. Like nobody can take that from you.
When you say, to radiate, right? So that's from the inside out. When you think about beauty or being a beautiful person, is the out part and the in part, does one have to come before the other? Are they inextricably intertwined forever? What do you think? And I understand, I always say, everybody's different, but generally speaking, how do you feel as though someone obtains that space where they have their own empowerment and beauty? Like, where does it start?
That is such a good question. It is like a chicken or egg question
Mm-hmm.
in a way. Yeah, in my heart, what I first feel is it's synergy. It's learning to make both resonate and learning to build both so that you can actually complement the other. And I mean, once you start on the inward, let me tell you, you don't want to make the outward feel worse. You actually really want to improve the outward. So, like, here's an example. I started working on my mindset and taking care of myself and giving myself respect first. Like, I'm not going to beat myself up in the corners of my mind anymore. I refuse to talk to myself rudely ever again.
Mm.
And things start shifting inside of you. And then guess what happened? I didn't want to eat sugar very much anymore, or I didn't want to eat things that were going to be damaging to my health or to my body. And then I started wanting to exercise. I wanted to take care of it. I wanted to wash it differently. I wanted to really be there from like really listen. And there's actually one day that I ate something. It was like not like, healthy to the point where it tastes like dirt, but like it was healthy enough that I felt like there was some vibrancy in my body, and it felt like my body was saying thank you. And I actually truly believe that our bodies are intelligent, and they can create, right? And they can heal, and they can process, and they're working through so much of what we're trying to do. And that if we can create a symbiotic kind of synergy with them of saying, hey, okay, I'm an entity. I got to take care of myself. This is what I've got to interact with the world. And then also work on that inner plane, as kind of how I put it, is like you've got an inner and outward plane. And the sooner that you can understand how to work in both of those spheres of, okay, listen to my body. What do I need? Okay. Also, what does my mind need? What is my emotional state health doing? And I need to work on that too, because it shows, right? You can always tell if somebody's feeling timid. They scrouch in and they look like they're shrunk, right? They're scrouch from the inside out. But then if someone's confident, they have this natural ease to them, right? And they're open. So naturally, what you're thinking changes the way that you even hold your body.
Yeah, we have other guests on the show who uh, deal with the metaphysical and also in direct medicine. And you would not be the first person to hint at our ability to communicate with our body at a much more profound way that science hasn't really completely wrapped its head around yet. And so, what I'm hearing from you is that, as you say, like your inner thoughts and things like that, that there must sort of be a meetings of the mind internally as part of your early steps of doing that. Would you agree with that concept?
Yeah. I think honestly, if you don't believe that you're beautiful, you'll never see it in yourself. I think that even if you don't meet quote unquote the standards of beauty, I think that first and foremost, you have to understand that you are beautiful for yourself. And I think that that was actually the very first thing that had to happen for me. I had to first say, like, I really hated the way I looked. I really did not like how kinky and bushy my hair was. I didn't like my nose. I didn't like my body type. I felt like I was that big girl that nobody like actually would really like to date kind of thing. I wasn't a stick. I've never been a stick. Then I've never been slender, I guess is a good way to put it. And I remember like looking at myself and just like hating every aspect of my stretch marks. And I would avoid the mirrors. I would dodge them. I would say, that's not for me. I don't need to see that person, whoever she is. And then there was one day I had to actually face myself in the mirror. And I remember thinking, what have I become? This was after 2 kids, and I was unkempt, and I was just making it. And my life was basically in decay around me, right? And I've shared these experiences a little bit before, of really the emotional side of it.
Right.
I remember kind of just bracing that mirror and saying, like, well, what if? What if I loved that nose? What if I loved those cheekbones and that beautiful jaw and that smile that changes the way people engage with you? What if I actually loved it, you know? And things started changing, and I started to take care of myself differently. I said, every day I'm going to start just, if I don't leave the bathroom feeling like I feel beautiful, then I got to get back in there and try again. I gotta try again. Like, what hairstyles do I like that resonate with me, that spark joy, that make me feel absolutely like 100 million watt personality, you know, because I am a big, bold person. And some people don't feel that way. Sometimes you have like a quiet personality. My sister's like that, but her hairstyles were so clean, and just they had like a special way of which they framed her face and things like that. And she was just like, she was beautiful in her own way. She was very different than me, yet we both sought to be our most beautiful selves. And so I think kind of finding what resonates with you and then trying it. And don't leave until you're proud, girl. Like, don't leave the bathroom until you know that for surety that when you walk out that door, you are ready for whatever comes. No matter if that's just taking on the diapers, or talking to a friend, or just enjoying your favorite show. I mean, there's something about being ready where everything shifts. I have 2 examples for you. My daughter, she loves to be a wild child, and I love it. I love that she's free and open and just goes into life. Like, she is bold.
Okay.
And she does not like her hair done. Yet there's something about it when I do her hair and get her dressed, instead of just letting her run around in her jammas, she just has this way about her that's like way more ready for the world. She just like, it centers her. And she's just like, yeah, let's go do something cool, mom. Like, we're ready. And there's something about that that's just like, whoa, what did we do? All we did was change, like, make sure our clothes were clean. It's not like it's fashion or anything. And then we put our hair together, and there's like this appearance that she knows that she's like ready to go. And then there's also this other aspect. My daughter ended up breaking her ankle the past 2 weeks. So we've been working through that. And after she got it off, so it's actually been, she's had it, the cast off for 2 weeks. We've been working through her kind, wise, strong, compassionate self, because there's something about when you break a bone, or when you are kind of the weight of the family, so to speak, because she's not being able to keep up with everyone. She's got some emotional things. We've been working through this, where I have her put her hand on her hands on her heart. And I say, you are, and I have her say her name. And then I say, you are kind, you are strong, and you can do anything. You're beautiful. And it changes the way she thinks. It changes the way that she comes forward. I thought maybe it was just going to be something, but no, she really takes it serious now. And she's just like, I know who I am. And it's changed her healing, because before she was like limping around, but now we're able to actually say, no, we know who we are. We're strong and we're beautiful and we're kind, and we're going to live with that kindness, and it changes things. So with both those examples, I think that brings the synergy kind of together.
For those of us who joined us in the middle, I'm speaking with Kaitlyn Andrews, the international life coach for women. You can find her at theartofwomanliness.com. And, on your website, and I'm thinking about the beginning of where you talk about getting into the mirror. And there seemed to be, at least for you, and maybe this is for a lot of us, a leveling conversation where we need to at least acknowledge where we think we are or how we have been acting or taking care of ourselves. And I notice on your site you have something, a line in there that you says beauty for ashes.
Yeah.
So why did you pick that phrase? I mean, you put it right on your site. I mean, what does that mean to you? Is that what that's dealing with, of
Yeah.
burning down the old and coming up with something new, or am I missing that? What is beauty for ashes?
Well, um, as women, our biggest question is, am I beautiful?
Mm.
I think deep down, every single woman asks herself that. And I think that is what we ask our men or our partners in life. We want to know if we're beautiful beyond all measure to them, to ourselves. And we're the little girl twirling in front of our dads or in front of our family saying, look at me, I'm beautiful. I have 2 daughters and they're like that. And I think deep down, knowing that we're beautiful is something that we all have to find for ourselves. And so actually, ashes is like, it's the state of which women usually find me. They usually find me when they're at their worst, their weakest, when they feel the most ugly, the most worthless. So really, ashes is an expression of my life is in my life already caught flames.
Has been burning
and
to the
now
ground.
and now I'm here trying to make sense of what to do with all of this. And it can be a really vulnerable place. And I value that so much, that women are willing to actually just start the journey to rebuild. And I heard a phrase once, and it was so incredible. So I want to share it. She said, the beautiful thing about breaking is that you get to rebuild, and you get to decide what you're made of.
Mm.
So I think sometimes we get so caught up in the fact that maybe we're just done, that maybe our chance has already passed, or that we're too far gone. Who would even care? And that hopelessness can feel really dark. And so I know for myself that getting myself out of that and saying, no, I am worth it. It is worth it to step up and own my life where it's at today, to be my own kind of beautiful, to love that nose, those eyes, that body. And I know there's like this supermodel out there. She's gotten out of the playing game, but she said she has this thing that she does with her girls, and I love it, where you stand in front of the mirror, and instead of saying what you like about your body, like say it's beautiful, say what it does. And that's like a really good place to start, is just saying, okay, like, wow, my body has stretched to create life, or my legs are so strong, they carry me everywhere, or my hands, they can make beautiful things, and my eyes and my smile bring comfort, or something, like there's so much to you than just how you look. And I think, yes, working on that appearance, and that is like, that's like 10%. But people can see the light in your eyes. They can see the joy in your heart. They can feel your kindness. And what will stay with every person that you meet longer than your beauty is going to be that kindness. It's going to be the way that you shared your goodness and your thoughts and your love and your character. And just, you were ready to receive, and you were ready to give. And there's something about that is so beautiful.
All right, so let's talk some turkey here, though. So you work with women, and I would imagine it goes for men too, that often why we don't start to do something is that we are too afraid of the failure, being uncomfortable, how much effort that might have to go into it. And now, when you're talking about finding and radiating out to the world your true, beautiful self, let me ask you, how many times have you worked with women who have truly taken that on with some courage and really wanted to go do it, who then in the middle said, it's too hard, I hate all this, it's impossible, I quit?
Zero.
I had a feeling you would probably say that. So, for any of us out there who are afraid to take that doozy of the first step, what are some starting off words of encouragement that you can give from those who have gone before us and dealt with these same confrontations that we might want to take this on? Is this really as hard as we think it is in our mind?
Oh my goodness. There's this quote, and I know I'm going to slaughter it, but it's like, never go up against somebody who's become a master of themselves because they've
Mm.
gone to battle every day of their lives. Yeah, it's going to be a battle. It is. It's so hard to pull yourself out. Yet, guess what? The moment that you decide, the moment that you say, no, there's got to be more, or I know I can do this, something changes. Your fight, your will increases. And it starts with, what can I do next? That's really just the simplest question. What can I learn next? What can I try next? What is so, like, what is it that I need more than anything right now to learn? And you'll find it and it'll come to you. I believe in that. And that's actually why I'm on this beautiful podcast with Ross, is because I truly believe that there is something out there that you need with your beauty, and I'm ready to give it because I have gathered, I have fought, and I am ready to help boost and build and guide and direct you to find those answers, because it can be so difficult to take that first step. And yet the reward, I mean, it's abundance and flourishing in your personality. Like, where you step, there is strength. Where you speak, there is presence. Where you guide and lift, there is a sense of belonging and self that no one can take from you. And I can tell you now, like my husband, he's even said there's something so remarkably beautiful about a woman who not only takes responsibility for herself, but is respectful, is trustworthy, and is kind. You cannot take that away. So why not step into that? And I think honestly, for me, what has changed is changing that mindset of, I have to, I have to, I have
Mm.
to I get to, I want to, I choose what I create for myself. There is nobody telling me what is the most beautiful Kaitlyn out there. I get to tell me what I want to be, and I get to choose how to create my own beauty for me. And I help women to have those conversations with themselves. And we lead with the kind, wise, strong, compassionate self. We lead through healing through that. We lead through beauty through that. We start with building that understanding of being kind, wise, strong, and compassionate as a whole being. And then we build that out. So you're leading from a place of strength from the get-go. So I'll first teach you how to build from a place of strength, and then we build out to the beauty and to all the beautiful stuff.
So, foundations first. And as people are going through these trials and tribulations, although and I'll admit that that phrase almost sounds weighted, right? Like something to be apprehensive of. But is this process something that we have to slog through, but then we have our beautiful self waiting on the other end? Or do you find that the process is one that is enjoyable and empowering along the way? Like, what are we in for?
Oh, that's such a good question. Ross, you really think of like everything. Um, I actually truly believe that it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding to see how how you feel, how things change, how you process and work through it, because like it's not like a game, it's like a discovery. You're like, you're forging your own path. You're saying, I'm going to set aside these notions, these standards that I have to look a certain way. And then it's kind of liberating. You just feel like, oh, that means I can be me. And that's going to be beautiful. In fact, I want to see what that looks like. What does that look like? I want to fight for it. So you start envisioning, then you start planning, you start changing it up, you start trying new hairstyles, trying new styles of clothes, you start trying new things. And oh my goodness, the process that actually, for me, I love that creative process. I love just exploring and uncovering, and or even just making and seeking out things that I'm like, ooh, that would be so great to feel or to have or to. And yeah, I think leading with this joy center is like, it's actually been really fun. The process is so fun. I love watching my clients they just all of a sudden start blossoming, and they're like, I have energy, I have strength, I have joy, I have patience with my kids, I feel like I show up better for my meetings. I feel like they have like this sense of like, wow, what's next? I have this energy that's just like, not like give me, but like, wow, let's expand to reach, because it's possible now, instead of feeling like it's such a damper, like, oh, I'll never make it, or why can't I ever do something right? No, it's like, how can I change this up so that I can actually do this, so I can make it. And so that mentality is such a cool change when it shifts. And yeah, so hands down, this is like one of my favorite things that I do.
It sounds with the way you're saying this, it's almost like the reward is immediate and the journey is just something that we continue on. I mean, like there's a positive feedback loop or something that seems to be happening there. As soon as you start, you'd seem to not want to quit.
Yeah.
As opposed to the cabbage and soup diet, which we all can't wait to quit. Right. So, all right. So we only have a few minutes left. So what is one thing, two things that like a woman could start doing today, to love their beauty and become more confident?
Oh, I would say start listening to your body. I actually do invite you to go to a quiet place, lay down, and it doesn't matter if you're alone, if you're married or whatever, just talk to it. Start listening. Start thanking it. Thank every aspect of your body that you can. And then whatever you can't thank right now, say that's my next goal. My next goal is to learn how to thank that part of my body. And just continue to listen and learn the difference between hunger and thirst, and learn the difference between agitation and irritation. Because I think sometimes we get so caught up in, are our emotions true? So start learning about your emotions, how your body responds to fear, how to listen right. And it all starts with just learning how to listen in general, like really start to listen. Oh, when do I get nervous around somebody, or when do I get super happy? And then start gauging that, because I think the moment that we start being aware is the moment that things start to change. And it almost happens naturally, yet there's something so powerful about when you say, okay, now that I'm aware of it, how do I want to guide it? And then that's where the true power comes in, is because life isn't about big, huge things. Usually it's about micro adjusting. And so your beauty is going to grow from the inside out through what you eat, through how you live, through how you express, through how you process your life. Because you can keep it all in, but no, you have to learn how to let it go and to process. And so first and foremost, learn how to listen, and then be willing and courageous enough to say, I want to direct that healing, that growth, that beauty of that is all mine, because it is worth it.
Listen and notice, even under times of stress, uncommon situations. I love this. Kaitlyn Andrews, International Life Coach for Women. You can find her at theartofwomanliness.com. Set up your free clarity call today. And thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Kaitlyn, once again for our wonderful conversation. I am Ross Morasso. Until next time, bye all. Happy New Year.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.